administration to actually increase pay for officers that participate in sensitivity training, clearing languages, etc.
Nobody should have to pay you to not be racist. That's not an incentive. That should come as part of the job. It's disrespectful. It's a slap in the face to every black person in this city to be paid for you to have cultural sensitivity, not be racist, and not kill us. So essentially, he wants to pay them to not kill us. That's how I take that.
You all, and I want to bring Angelique and Eric in to talk about this, especially you, Angelique. You fought since 2017 for the Andrew Curse Act, and you had a victory. How does that feel for you?
It's just one step, for Angela to get justice. It felt phenomenal. And when it goes federal, it's going to be even more better.
How do you feel to still have to march, though, even after, you've come this far, you've been fighting for years on this, you still have to march?
I'm still marching because there's a lot of people that's been affected. There's a lot of voices. So they need to be heard. I'm going to keep fighting because I fight for the ones that don't have the strength. So I have to give my strength to the families that are still here.
Eric, what kind of victory was it for you, for your family?
It wasn't a victory, and then last night I see somebody else get choked out, so I'm calling on the mayor to address that as soon as possible.
Monica, what do you have a message for the folks who, we continue to have these marches, especially the last 2 weeks. There has been progress made. There's so much more to go. How do we take this passion, move it into even more progress, more laws that get passed?
So I think a lot of times people get extremely comfortable with just protesting. And so my challenge is don't just show up to the protest and then go home and check the box that you did something, but actually help us fight to create change. Black people are literally saying, stop killing us, and somebody is saying, but. And that is disrespectful no matter how you look at it. That's how I take it from Governor Baker. We're saying, have your police department stop killing us and see us as human beings. And he said, no, I'm going to pay them to not kill you. That's disrespectful, right? On top of housing cuts, black people are on the receiving end of every cut that happens in the state of Massachusetts. So housing, education, mental health. So the pandemic didn't create these issues. It exacerbated an issue on top of you killing us. We're literally leaving our house, making decisions on, do I fight and stay in the house from COVID, or do I go protest the fact that they're killing black people in the street, or do I go and do the housing protest? At this point, to be black in this country, you wake up protesting. And it's just a matter of picking which one you're going to jump into. It's disrespectful. The fact that we're back here, so after we protested June 2nd, 55,000 people, I held an event that said, what's next? Before I could even host the event, another black man was killed. Rashard Brooks, we watched it on video. How many videos do y'all need to stop killing black folks? That's my question. Then Trump does this whole thing where he talks about he met with families. If you met with them and you didn't listen to them, it was pointless. You didn't hear nothing they said to you, because you still decided to give police departments across this country more money. We're not going to arrest our way out of this problem. That's not going to happen. We watched them try to do it before. It doesn't work. Also, with COVID, since everybody's so worried about, if protesters are worried about COVID, there are people sitting in MCI Norfolk, MCI Framingham, who are incarcerated, who don't have the luxury of social distancing, who are not getting properly cared for. Why? Because I get those calls too. So to be a black activist is to be fucking exhausted. I'm exhausted. That's where I'm at. I'm sorry. I can't be politically correct because I'm tired. I'm also a mom of 6 kids. So I had to leave my kids at home, come out here, protest. Angie drove from New York. Eric drove from New York to say stop killing us. That should be the question. I don't want to answer no questions around looting or none of that. I want the focus to be black folks dying in the United States on a regular basis at the hands of the very people who took an oath to protect and serve, right? And they function like a gang. Because the same thing that they tell us not to do, they do, right? They don't speak out against the other officers who are killing us. They practice with a code of silence and don't talk. So the very thing that they tell us not to do, when a shooting happens is the community going to speak? Are you going to speak for the officer that beat the hell out of us? Are you going to speak for the officer that put his knee in the back? 4 officers stood around that other officer when he had his knee in George Floyd's neck. 4. So like, come on. At this point, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. So we gonna march to the State House because Charlie Baker got some questions he needs to answer. everybody is screaming, hey, stop killing us, we need more funding, and you go, oh, let me pay officers to not kill you, is disrespectful.
The city of Boston is continuing budget discussions this week. What do you want to see out of that budget?
I definitely want to see more money allocated towards social justice and prevention programs. I know that the conversation is not done. The budget process is a long one, so I'm hopeful that at the end of that, the mayor and the city council can come together and make sure that adequate funding is put towards people like myself who have a nonprofit and know their monies to get things done in the city.
Is it enough to cut overtime, police overtime, which has been proposed?
No. Cut overtime, then what? There's officers making well into $400,000 a year. The mayor doesn't even make that much. Does that make sense to you as a citizen? It shouldn't make sense to anybody.
In an ideal world, what would it not be?
I didn't hear you say it again.
So in an ideal world, let's say you had a man's money, you achieved everything. What would it look like to you?
So we need to recognize that this is a common law. I'm a realist, right? Crime pays here. With that being said, do I expect them to get rid of the whole police department? It would be great, but no, I don't have that expectation because crime pays here. What I do expect is that at least 10% or more come from that police budget and go towards black and brown nonprofits who are fighting for immigration, housing, violence prevention, food insecurity. There are over 5,000 BPS children who are hungry. They was hungry before we started protesting. That needs to be fixed. So when you ask me about what I want to see happen, they still ain't removed the knife, metaphorically, that has been placed in our backs from the beginning. Pull it out so the wound can heal.
Monica, it's been a month since George Floyd was killed. Has there been any progress do you feel on this?
I always have to feel optimistic and hopeful because if not, I would stay home and quit, right? But the point is it's not enough. We've been saying this fight and screaming these chants for the longest. We're tired. I'm tired. Every day I wake up tired. And guess what? On top of protesting for George Floyd, now we have Rashard Brooks. Before that, it was Terrence Coleman and Burrell Ramsey. Before that, it was Eric Gardner. Before that, it was Andrew Hurst. Like, how many times do y'all need to see videos to get it right? And the other thing is I don't ever want nobody to think that legislation is going to fix everything. They just choked somebody else out again in New York, right? So that doesn't work. The rules are there, but if they're unwilling to follow the rules, then what? Right? So either way, when people are like reform the police department, how you reforming something when the people who are involved in that system are refusing to adhere to rules? Chokeholding was prohibited before it was passed as a bill to not be able to do it at all. It didn't stop them from killing Eric Gardner.
Has there been any signs of progress though over this last month?
There were protests nationwide, and here we are 6 years later. Do you think that this time it will be different?
I think that black people have been in a war for a very long time that we didn't participate in, and I think now we're in full participation. So yeah, I do think change is happening, and also we got to realize civil rights is one in every generation. We're not going to solve everything. I'm not standing out here talking to y'all because I think I'm going to protest and then all the racism is going to disappear. I mean, even in your world, look at how many black reporters are standing out here. I know Crystal, but like, it's a broken system across the board, and that has to change. And so if he wants to talk, he didn't feel comfortable publicly speaking, but that's his choice. If he chooses not to, I need y'all to be able to respect that.
Eric, if you don't mind, would you mind stepping a little closer to the microphone, and if you're comfortable, please talk about why it was important for you to be here, and what kind of policing would you like to see? What kind of law enforcement would you like to see? Do you mind stepping a little closer? Thank you.
It's important for me to come out here because there's not a lot of young people out here, and I feel like I'm the voice of the young people. So I came out here to stand with her and get some justice.
What's it like to see so many young people joining in this movement across the country?
It's inspiring, and I want everybody to keep it up. It's going on.
Eric, why did you choose to come here to Boston?
Because it's still happening. We gotta shine light on the problems that's happening in New York. Like we had the anti-chokehold passed last week, and last night somebody was choked out. So I'm calling on Mayor de Blasio to enforce that law that he just passed.
Eric, and what message are you just really trying to convey today, being out here?
I'm just out here marching with the people.
Thank you so much.
Is that it, guys?
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hit me.
once in a while.
Oh, you know? Excuse me. You like my son? Look at this. In the garbage.
Bobby, can you roll real quick? I'm just going to introduce myself.
Monica, M-O-N-I-C-A, Cannon, C-A-N-N-O-N, Grant, G-R-A-N-T.
And you're with the
Yeah,
and
CEO and founder.
I'm going to have to walk.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. So I'm going to speak to everybody who showed up here to support us today, and then we're going to start walking because it's hot as hell. And we're going to make our way to the State House, and then we'll have a formal speaking program once we get to the State House in regards to our demands on Governor Baker. And then from there, I will make sure that he receives those demands in hand. And then I'm going to get everybody who's marching today to call his office until he realizes that he can't run from this issue. And if he get 55,000 calls, 2,000 calls, that should make him want to do something different.
Are you going to go inside the State House?
Yeah, I am. Because I feel like if it's not directed, it's not respected. Everybody march, but nobody talks directly to those who have the power. And I just feel like he's escaped a lot of accountability. You know, Massachusetts overall, we like to think we're progressive, but their progression ain't never been our progression. And so I want to make sure that there's no way in hell he can say he didn't receive the demands or he heard. So I want to make sure he gets those demands and we get some traction and some changes happen. His whole cabinet is white. Yeah. You can't say you believe in diversity. Your whole cabinet is white. There's not one person of color on your cabinet. So then how can you talk about what it is to be black in the state of Massachusetts? You can't tell, a white person can't tell nobody how to be black. They don't wake up black. When I wake up in the morning, that's a fight. And so I need him to understand what that looks like, not just having black folks that he talked to for advice. It is. I sent Clark for water.
I know.
Oh, okay. Got water? This one.
How terrible is it?
I don't got Megan Thee Stallion needs. Hurry up.
Come on, you get that too many times.
Right this way, man.
All right, I'm done, y'all. My knees hurt.
Yeah, thank you. How much time we got?
You ready?
Yeah, how much time you want?
What time is it? Okay, let's get it popping.
Yeah, you start right back in there.
So you were in downtown? You was not playing. No, it just usually.
lot of y'all a couple of times. I ain't never met you personally. But I'm glad you're here. But we out here for a reason. When we say no justice, no peace, that's what we mean. So when Breonna Taylor was killed, we was out here. Or when Ray Charles was killed, we was out here. When Tony McDade was killed, we was out here. When they killed the brother out here, we was out here. When they killed Real Ransom, we was out here. I'm gonna be out here every time. And when I got tired, somebody else got my back. So when I say no justice, no peace, I mean that. So no justice?
No peace!
No justice?
No peace!
All right, y'all ready to march? Yeah! Let me hear it one more time. Y'all ready to march? Yeah!
Black lives matter! Black lives matter! So listen, we're gonna get started. We got a couple of cars that are gonna start the march bus. I want everybody to stay behind those two vehicles. Carlene, come. Lanice, come. I want everybody to stay behind those two vehicles just so that we can keep pace. I want it to be safe. There are medics out here, so if anybody runs into a situation where you feel dehydrated, you can't breathe, please find a medic. Also, please, please, please wear your mask. I know it's hot. If you can, it's okay to pull it down, catch your breath, pull it back up, because COVID is still killing black people. Okay? The other thing is in those cars we will have bottles of water, so if you run into a situation where you're thirsty, this is the reason for staying behind those vehicles. We also have healers here who have water. There are people spread out. There are medics. We have all the things to make sure that we're safe during this protest. Understood? Understood. Also, I need people to understand something, and I need to say this before we start walking. Don't let this be the last time you show up to Roxbury. I'm here every day, but like I tell y'all often, if I'm screaming, I'm an angry black woman. With a white woman standing next to me, oh my God, we have a problem. Okay? So what I need is don't just protest and check the box and say, I protested, I did my good deed, racism is solved. That's not how that shit works. Right? And for those who are like, well, what about black on black crime? Well, it's the same thing as saying crab in a barrel. We have to discuss who created the barrel. So when you want to talk about that, let's talk about the conditions and why black people are killing black people, but understand that any population of people living amongst their own people are going to kill their people. So if you're not going to say Asian on Asian crime, white on white crime, Puerto Rican on Puerto Rican crime, stop saying it. The other thing is this, and I said it publicly and I'll say it again. I don't want to talk about looting, but do I care about the UGG store? No, because they discriminate on me walking through there. Do I care about black and brown businesses? Absolutely, because they didn't get the funding that a lot of people got from that COVID relief package that was handed out. Understand that there are members of the community spread out in this crowd that if they see you tearing up our shit, they will run through your face like Marshawn Lynch. Because the last time we had a protest, people was getting out of Teslas, tearing up shit. Not today, okay? Today we want to make sure that we stay on message. Today we want to make sure that Governor Baker understands he doesn't get to give more money to police at a time when black bodies are piling up. So we're going to start over here. We're going to start over here near that flagpole, and we're going to pull the cars around to get in line, and I want you guys to be behind the vehicles, and we will begin to march. Okay, guys? No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! Black lives matter! Black lives matter! Let's go!
because before we even start, I'm calling on Afro-Indigenous people to participate in this opportunity to ensure that we're going to call on our ancestors before we start anything. And so when we deal with African spirituality, indigenous medicine, we first call on our ancestors. When we call on our ancestors, we are going to call on them to guide us, to make sure that we are practicing Black radical love. That has always been the movement of Black and brown people. And so we're going to take a moment to call. When you have an opportunity, when I say it's time for other people to call on their ancestors, I'm asking for Black and brown people to stop calling on their heroes and their sheroes and their family members. The word that you would say is Ashe. Ashe means Amen. Can we practice Ashe? Ashe. 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 So first we're going to call on all ancestors that have been present, who we will call their names. We will call your direct ancestor's name at this time. We're also going to be calling on the most recent slaughtering of our ancestors, calling on George Floyd, Ashe. Calling on Rayshard Brooks, Ashe. Calling on the Orishas of Oshun, who guides us with harmony. Calling on the Orisha of Shango, who guides us with war and his thunderstorm. Calling on the Orisha of Obatala, that brings wisdom and peace and understanding. Calling on the Orisha of Ifa, that brings wisdom for all. Calling on the on the Orisha of Obatala, Ogun, Shango, Oya. Calling on all other Orishas that can help us with this safe journey. At this time, when I stop pouring, you will now call your ancestors, your family members, your heroes and sheroes who have been present. We just all call names at the same time. So 1, 2, 3. Calling on Baba. Calling on Baba. Calling on Iya. Calling on Baba. Calling on Larry Haynes. Calling on Malcolm X. Yes, Ashe. 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 Queen Mother Moore. Ashe. 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 Nat Turner. Ashe. Harriet Tubman. Ashe. 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 Now we will take a moment just to close our eyes. When you have your silent prayer, you will now hear a song. Lead me in prayer as you hear this ritual song that we call on oftentimes when we are fighting for justice and change. So with that being said, Danielle, butterfly. So if you guys can line up behind the car. I don't know what's up there.
I've seen you so many times before.
It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. I go to the movie.
Everybody else,
And I go downtown.
if you have a sign, stand in the front.
Somebody
Everybody else
telling
behind
me,
us.
don't you hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know ain't gonna come. Oh, yes it will.
go to my brother and say, brother, help me please. But he keeps on knocking me down on my knees. Sometimes I thought I couldn't last for long, but now I know I can carry on. It's been a long time coming, and I know a change gon' come. Oh, yes it will. I was born by the river in a little tent, yeah. Just like that river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, and I know a change gon' come. Oh, yes it will.
Hands up!
Don't shoot!
Hands up!
Don't shoot!
Hands up!
Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Hands up!
Don't shoot!
Hands up!
Don't shoot!
Hands up!
Don't shoot!
Don't shoot!
Don't shoot!
Hands up!
Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
It's been
Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Hands up!
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 Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Hands up!
Don't shoot!
Hands up!
Don't shoot!
And I go
Don't shoot!
down.
Hands up!
Don't shoot!
But
Don't
somebody's
shoot!
feeling
Don't shoot!
Hands up!
Don't shoot!
Hands up!
Don't shoot!
Hands up!
Don't shoot!
a long
Don't shoot!
Hands up!
Don't shoot!
time
shoot.
coming,
Don't shoot!
but I know
Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Hands up!
Don't shoot! 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 Matter! Don't shoot!
my brother.
Don't shoot!
Black lives matter. 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 No justice.
No peace!
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 No racist.
Police!
No racist.
Police!
No justice.
No peace!
No racist.
Police!
No justice.
No peace!
No racist.
Police!
Hands up.
Don't shoot!
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 No justice.
No peace!
No justice.
No peace!
Make some noise for Black Lives Matter. Hands up.
Don't shoot!
Hands up.
Don't shoot!
Hands up.
Don't shoot!
justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No race.